Well, folks, it's been a really big week in our fight to expand Missouri's Stand Your Ground law here in Jeff City. A lot happened. Going to do a video update right now so you guys know where things stand. Whatever else you do, whatever else you have time for, hit the link beneath this video and send your email to the House Rules Committee and tell them to advance HB 2118 right away. If you don't have any time for anything else, that's fine. Whatever else you do, fire off that email right away. So here's where things stand right now. This past week, we got very successfully, very proud of this, we got House Bill 2118 out of the Government Oversight Committee. That was a very, very confrontational hearing we had on that bill 2 weeks ago, and now we had the final vote on that committee just last week. It passed out of the committee by a vote of 5-3. And so now the bill goes to the Rules Committee, and that's why they have got to hear from you guys immediately, telling them to move this bill right away. Don't forget, this next week now in Jeff City is called Spring Break Week. Yes, they're adults, but yes, they get spring break week like college kids, and they have the entire week off in Jeff City. But the deals are still being worked on behind closed doors. The leadership team in both chambers is deciding right now what bills are the priority for the rest of session. There's 2 months left in session, not quite that much when they come back from break. And so, again, they have to hear from you right now that this is a priority for us as gun owners. So just a brief recap on HB 2118. I'm trying to remind you guys what we're talking about here. This is the Stand Your Ground Expansion Act that Missouri needs so bad. Again, right now in Missouri, if you're involved in a use of force situation or the threatened use of force, someone makes you draw your firearm or shoot them with your firearm to stop a criminal attack, right now here in Missouri, it is your burden. It is on you. It is on me to prove our innocence in a court of law. We're not innocent until proven guilty. Not here in Missouri. Here in Missouri, we're guilty until we prove our innocence. Seems kind of backwards. Yeah, well, it is. It is. And 16 other states have already passed this legislation that inverts that presumption. So instead of us being presumed guilty until we prove our innocence, in those 16 states, a gun owner in a use of force situation or threatened use of force situation is presumed innocent until or unless the state can make their case in court. Now, you would think that would appeal to everybody. And that's what I said in my testimony before the committee. Whether you're black, white, brown, green, or pink, whether you're rich, poor, man, woman, whatever it is you are or identify as today, this bill should benefit you. This bill would benefit you because those protections apply to everybody. And the good news right now is that we're hearing multiple reports that even the Democratic caucus in Jeff City is conflicted about this because they love the idea that everybody is presumed innocent until we're proven guilty in court. So now it's time for us to push hard and force this bill to the floor for a vote. That's number one, is the presumption of innocence. But again, number two, there is also the civil immunity protection in there as well. Civil protections. It's not a lot of help to us to survive an attack on the street and then spend the next 2 years in civil court and be bankrupt in the process to stop a civil action by the same suspect or his estate who wants to punish us for stopping the attack in real life. That's what civil immunity protection would do. It just says unless there's evidence that you broke the law, you would be immune from civil charges as well. And finally, the bill has a process by which you can claim these protections, both civilly and criminally. And how we do that is a PreTrial immunity hearing. So if your counsel believes that your actions were not unlawful, you can go before a judge and say, Your Honor, my client shot this individual or he threatened to. Here's the reason why. Here is Missouri's use of force code statutes. The force that my client used or threatened to use was entirely lawful. And as such, my client is immune to criminal and civil charges. Now, if the judge agrees, that's it. You walk out the door a free man, a free woman. That's it. If he disagrees, You're heading to court, but you were heading to court anyway. So pretrial immunity hearing gives you a chance to assert those protections up front and potentially avoid the misery of a criminal or civil trial. Now, as you can imagine, every single lobbyist in the state, every media outlet in the state, most media outlets across the country, and all well, not all of, but a bunch of the radical leftists in the state capitol all of them claim this bill would make murder legal. That's because none of them apparently can read. If you read the bill, it's very short. It's very short. House Bill 2118. It clearly says you are not going to be held liable. You are immune from charges if, that's the key word, that's one of the key words, if the force you used was reasonable, was lawful. If the force you used was not lawful, then you're going to get arrested. You're going to get prosecuted. You're going to be potentially convicted. That's what should happen, right? That's what should happen. But if the force was lawful, you are immune from charges. So we have every law enforcement organization in the state opposing this. We have Michael Bloomberg's organization in the state opposing this. We have the NAACP here in the state opposing this. We have the transgender lobby, didn't even know they had a lobby, but apparently they do, opposing this. And that's why you've got to take action right away. What we're doing is very simple, and it's law in 16 states. The civil protections is law in 24 states. The question is, will it become law here in Missouri? That depends in large part upon you, upon gun owners, your friends, family, coworkers, colleagues, hunting buddies, shooting buddies, making their voice heard right now. I can assure you that Bloomberg's people are flooding the Rules Committee in opposition to this bill. And we have got to flood them back in support of this bill to give it a chance to move forward in the state capitol. Look, there's not a lot of time left. We're in the middle of March right now. They have spring break coming up. Session ends in the middle of May. However, there's priority bills that begin to take effect as we get closer towards the end of the session. So we've got to move on this right now. There's a lot of pressure right now in the Capitol, a lot of backstory, a lot of fights between the rank, moderate rhino, backstabbing traitors and the hardcore conservatives in Jeff City, and they need help to advance gun bills like this. HB 2118 is the bill we need to fix all the problems in Missouri's self-defense laws, because right now, again, you are wide open for a spurious, politically motivated prosecution from a Kim Gardner style prosecutor in your neighborhood, in your community. And, you know, the McCloskeys went through this. The McCloskeys have means. They're not a poor couple. They have connections. They're politically connected. And thankfully, all of those things combined with President Trump combined to help them survive their encounter. They were still treated shamefully. The guy should have been given an award. He should have been given an award. Instead, he had to fight for his life, fight for his freedom, fight for his legal career, because that's how nasty the prosecutors in St. Louis are. And so, you know, we had the Prosecutors Association lobbying in the Capitol against the bill in committee last week. And, you know, my thought to them was, you know, if you guys don't like us trying to change the law, you should have policed your own association better. You should have held Kim Gardner accountable. You should have moved to have her disbarred. You should have moved to have her removed from office. The problem is, it's not just Kim Gardner. It's not just Kim Gardner. There are a variety of counties across the state where if you dare defend yourself or threaten to defend yourself, you're going to be charged just because. And the law allows for that more or less right now. This bill would change all of that and get Missouri back to where we should be when it comes to self-defense laws and making our laws very strong to protect gun owners, to protect our rights. Now, some of the myths we hear about this bill, and you might be curious about this, they say, well, wouldn't this presumption of innocence also extend to criminals, not just to good guys who use a gun? And the answer is absolutely. Whether you are a soccer mom in affluent, rich part of town in Springfield, or you are a poor black teenager in St. Louis, this bill applies to you. Whether the soccer mom was stopping a rapist or the black teenager was shooting a fellow, criminal in St. Louis, the bill applies to you. We should all, regardless of our neighborhood, race, net worth, whatever else, we should all be presumed innocent until the court proves us guilty. The only idea, the only separation, between good guys with a gun and bad guys with a gun is the facts. But until we have those facts, we should all be presumed innocent. Giving the power to the state to simply come after anybody they want to and then figure out the case afterwards is a disaster waiting to happen. Hell, it's already happened with the McCloskeys. This bill treats everybody here in Missouri equally the same. We're equally innocent in the eyes of the law. That is what we should all have here in Missouri. So again, every lobbyist is opposed to this bill, as you could imagine. Look, these guys have opposed us on everything. They have opposed us on SEPA. They oppose constitutional carry. They oppose the removal of the requirement to retreat. Every gun bill we've passed in Missouri over the last 8 or 9 years, they've been opposed to every one. Law enforcement, the Bloomberg Brigade, all of them. And frankly, I'm sick and tired of seeing our law enforcement lobbyists always fighting against our gun rights. They said Missouri's going to run red with blood when we pass constitutional carry, and they were wrong. Same thing was going to happen after SEPA. They were wrong. They're wrong again now. But folks, we have got to push hard. Republicans don't like this bill. At least the moderates don't. Neither the Democrats. Push hard. Send your email. Hit the link below. Fire off your email. Tell your friends to do the same thing. Make your voice heard. And then, if you haven't yet done so, go to joinmofc.com and join up as a member today. Join MOFC.com. We're the only organization actually fighting in the Capitol for you. Get involved in the fight today. Send your emails. Share our video. We'll keep you guys informed. Take care.